it sounds so cliche, man, but I really get a thrill out of helping other people. Like that's really, the passion behind it for me. So when looking to the future, man, I love to see my key managers and people that's been around for a long time. I love to see them be successful, not just here, but in other things. And I want to see, their hard work pay off, because that's what it's about for me, man. It's building up other people, making sure everybody else is around me is successful. I don't want to measure success by my own personal success. I want to see everybody around me, get a win.
Let's discover the Cleveland entrepreneurial ecosystem. We are telling the stories of its entrepreneurs and those supporting them. Welcome to the Lay of the Land podcast, where we are exploring what people are building in Cleveland. I'm your host, Jeffrey Stern, and today I had the pleasure of speaking with James Barnes Jr., a native of Cleveland, Ohio's Ward 7 neighborhood and the founder and president of Immaculate Cleaning Company. James had launched his first successful business endeavor as a high school student. And from this experience, he learned the basic principles of running a profitable business enterprise, which he then leveraged to build what has now become Northeast Ohio's fastest growing janitorial service company, with broader conglomerate ambitions of rolling up and starting up service providers across other related industries like lawn services. And to James, Immaculate Cleaning is more than a business. It's really a means to his passion for community engagement and economic empowerment, working towards social impact in the areas where he grew up in Cleveland. And as of 2021, Immaculate Cleaning Company has become the proud cleaning partner of the Cleveland Monsters hockey team to amplify their impact in greater Cleveland communities. I really loved learning about James's story and his seeming preparedness for every opportunity that has come his way. I really hope you all enjoy my conversation with James Barnes. So I know your entrepreneurial roots here are deep, dating back to when you were a child. And so I kind of wanted to start this conversation with just kind of going through some of the formative moments throughout your life that inspired you to build and enter this world of entrepreneurship at such a young age.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jeffrey. So I've always been interested in business and entrepreneurship, even as a kid. And kind of the motivation behind it was, seeing my family, my mom and my dad, we struggled, throughout the course of my childhood. Always interested in having, making a change for myself and my family in my community. So those were some of the basis of, me being driven to become an entrepreneur and have a successful business.
Yeah. And what were some of those things that you had worked on when you were younger that were in this kind of world of building things and, making money and just like, what were some of those activities that you started out with?
Oh man, I found things I could to generate some revenue. And I wouldn't even call it revenue then, because there was no business. There was me trying, to find ways to make money. But I can remember as early as, I want to say 7 or 8 years old, maybe even a tad bit earlier. I used to go to work with my dad all the time. He had a painting company, so to speak, or he was a painter who, I want to say maybe self-employed. But yeah, that was, the beginning to develop that work ethic. Just the vision behind it, came early on as a child for sure. Even in high school, I can remember a group of friends. We had a candy business. Man, we were ruthless, even at such a young age. I can remember taking out the competition early. We unplugged the vending machines. It was a candy selling venture. We would unplug the vending machines. Put the out of order signs on the particular machines. We even went as far to set a deal with the administration at the school to sell candy after hours. So early on, it was always a passion, behind business. And then, like I say, being driven by my own family financial situation, I knew early on that, 9 to 5 or the traditional route wasn't for me at all.
Yeah, that's really funny. Just you got to own the candy supply. That's the way to start. Was it like something that you felt yourself naturally enjoying and thriving at, or was it something that you worked on, thinking about the different opportunities, where those opportunities were? Was that something that you had enjoyed?
Yeah, I think what came natural to me was just building relationships with people, right? Wanting to do right by people and understanding, that integrity goes a long way. So in building business, it was just, like I said, a passion. I think I would say I'm a born leader in a sense. Always kind of went against the grain with certain things, never kind of followed the path taken by most. So early on, yeah, it was early. There were signs. If you ask my parents, probably a lot of signs to say he's going to definitely do something different or become a business owner.
Yeah. So let's kind of paint the picture here of, working backwards from, let's call it the founding story for Immaculate Cleaning and some of your just entrepreneurial explorations in high school, from candy to whatever it may have been. What were some of those things that kind of happened in the interim? What kind of got you on the path towards ultimately starting what you would consider a business rather than just, kind of a project?
Yeah, so I want to say it wasn't until I graduated from high school to where I took those basic principles. When I say basic, I mean the very basic principles of running a business. Right, we talk about marketing and advertising, the financials of a business, but not on the on a large level at all. I really didn't even understand business financials back then. But now I've learned to learn and understand those things. But when I graduated, I took those basic principles and wanted to apply it on a larger scale, right? Because, at the time where most of my friends are going to college and we're kind of figured things out, I knew that I wanted to be involved in business and entrepreneurship, but I didn't know what. So it was at that point where I thought about starting a cleaning business for a couple of different reasons. It was a very lucrative business, and it was something that people could take me serious as a 19-year-old kid. If you could trust me to do anything, you could trust me to clean, right? So, and I figured I could make some money, but I took that rule at the beginning. No, we'll clean anything. We'll clean your house, your car, your basement, your garage. I think my first official project for my cleaning service was cleaned up a garage that they were housing their dogs in. So it was a garage full of feces. And I thought that it was the greatest feeling ever. I think it took me about 30 minutes and she paid me about $150. And I was like, we are in business. I felt great about that project. But as I started to get older, and figure things out, I knew that I wanted to, develop a business model that could be sustainable long term. So I quickly found our niche in commercial. With commercial cleaning, it's a lot more. It's less. I'm gonna say it's less of a headache, right? In dealing with B2C and B2B, you could imagine, dealing with one decision maker versus the everyday consumer who has an opinion about most things, or maybe expect a miracle, to be performed versus, you maintaining a commercial site. So I quickly dove into the commercial, started doing my research. I went to work for a local, I wouldn't even say local, I would say a pretty big company for commercial cleaning at a local college. And I did everything and tried to play every position that I could within that time frame to get as much knowledge as I could about the commercial cleaning industry. From the general cleaning to floor servicing, I would spend a lot of time in the manager's office just trying to soak in and all the knowledge that I could. And that was at that point where I made the shift from, all right, this is a real business now.
Got it. So starting really in the residential space, recognizing this opportunity in commercial and kind of enveloping yourself in really understanding what commercial entails, with this inclination that that's where kind of the bigger business opportunity ultimately would lie for Immaculate Cleaning. Had you kind of thought about, considering, and we'll get to Immaculate Cleaning today, but like the vision for where you might want to take the business, or was it more just, I see this opportunity in commercial and I want to explore it, relative to the residential space? Or was this idea of building a real like company behind it?
No, it was definitely intentional in building a sustainable commercial cleaning business. But it was also a combination of both. Like we seen the fact that we could make some money now and that we could also build this out long term. But as we got more involved and started to actually develop the business, it was a no-brainer for us to move in that direction.
Yeah. So what were some of those things as you were just kind of entrenched yourself in the learning and research about the commercial space that you didn't quite expect, or were things that were new to you along the way?
That's a good question. I think because I took the time to do my research, right, and I went to actually work for a commercial cleaning company. Now that was kind of an eye opener for me. The late night, the third shift, the expectations in the sense of maintaining this huge facility and some of the things that they require of you. Really building out a brand, was kind of like, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to do it the right way. Instead of just, hey, we'll show up and, with a mop and bucket and offering to clean someone's house, if that makes any sense at all. we have to have our, the paperwork has to be correct. We have to have our ducks in a row. We want to show up and be taken seriously to service these high profile facilities.
Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think about one of the roles of a CEO being just understanding of every element of the business and being able to kind of play the part. And that's an exercise in like empathy, not only for like the business and opportunities you're trying to win, but for the employees and the company you're trying to build.
Absolutely.
So coming out of this kind of research experience, what were, some of the lessons that you kind of brought with you from earlier on in your career that you had learned, from the as early as the candy endeavors to starting Immaculate Cleaning? What did you find that you had learned that worked? What did you find that you wanted to do differently? What were the things you were thinking about as you started to pull together what the culture and kind of strategy behind Immaculate Cleaning would be?
Yeah, so what I found out was that I didn't really know much at all. Yeah, as a teenager, 18, 19-year-old kid, you think that you got it all figured out. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow, and we're going to live happily ever after. Right now, once I got into business, that was that mindset quickly changed. Just learning those early lessons. The biggest thing for me was discipline. Right, like I said, as a teenager, I'm my own boss and I have employees, and you can't really tell me much. So being disciplined to say, hey, these are, some of the best years of our life, right? College years, and all our friends are out partying and drinking. And I got to stay here, stay focused and get this business plan together before we can, make sure that things are ready to go. But that'll probably be the biggest lesson that I learned as far as making the transition from high school to the cleaning company. Man, it's a ton of lessons, but
maybe in the context of a story, like how did you get your first commercial deal, like coming out of all this?
So I'll backtrack a little bit, Jeffrey. Coming out of working for the cleaning service, I set a date. I said, I'm going to work for exactly 6 months to the day, and then I'm going to, set a timeline. I'm going to quit. The 6 months of the day, cold turkey, I walked away. So I don't want to get caught up in the system of relying on a constant paycheck, within that system. So I walked away. I went and bought a pickup truck. I'm still out, hustle mode, like I say, trying to find my way. And but at this time, I've made the decision to focus on commercial cleaning versus residential. So I had a couple of great mentors throughout my business journey. One called me up one day. He said, "Hey, I got someone works at this location. They're looking for an employee to service, but hey, you could possibly turn this into a cleaning account." Okay, perfect. So I go, make the phone call. We set a meeting. I go to the interview and tell him about all my capabilities and everything. And the guy looks at me. He say, "That's great." He say, "But we only have $20 an hour to offer you right now. I really hope that's enough." And at the time, like I say, 20-year-old kid, you offer me $20 an hour, I probably would have took 10, 15. So I'm trying to keep my composure. I'm saying, "Oh, well, maybe we could make something happen with that."
Yeah.
On the inside, it's like, man, I'm like, I made it. This is it. Right? So I took the position. Same thing. I set the standard super high. So as I'm doing all of the work myself at this point. And we're doing a bang up job. They've never seen this place look this great. We're flexible. We're building these relationships. Like it was a great relationship. So I did the exact same thing. I worked for 3 months in that position, and I said, "Hey, I gotta make a move. I want to hire someone to take on this." Because one thing I did learn early on, to go back to the point, was you have to work on the business and not in the business, right? So if I'm constantly wrapped up in being a laborer, I can't focus on being a business owner. So I set that timeline again, 3 months. I gave myself 3 months, and I was gone. I was done with it. So throughout that time that I'm working, I'm setting everything up to make that transition. Right, I'm bringing people in, that, assisting in completing these projects. They're getting familiar with the spaces. So when it was time to go, hey, you got everything you need necessary, or everything you need to take on this project alone. When I left, I presented the client with, or my employers at this time, with the formal proposal to my company take over the cleaning operations. And we did some negotiating back and forth, but ultimately I did accept the proposal, and that was our first official cleaning account.
That's awesome. We'll kind of fill in the blanks as we go here, but Just like, how do you describe the business today? What is Immaculate Cleaning at a high level, and at what scale have you kind of built it to today?
Immaculate, I look at it a couple of different ways, man. This is like my baby, something I created from nothing. But then again, this is we're creating an enterprise, right? So I try to look at it that way on a daily basis. But we built our brand in a way to where we focus on a couple of different things: innovation, training systems, and relationships. Those are the key differentiators of for Immaculate Cleaning. And keeping that in mind, when we're building something for the future. This is not something that we're doing for the time being. It's not a lifestyle business. This is definitely, something that we're expanding and building on those relationships that we built in the past. So right now we're leveraging for a couple of different industries. We're building Immaculate Landscapers. We're building Immaculate Transportation and Logistics. We're building Immaculate University. And all of this will fall up under the umbrella company of Immaculate Management Group, which Immaculate Cleaning will be a part of that as well. So yeah, we're taking those relationships, man, and things that we've built in the past, and we're creating a conglomerate.
That's an incredible kind of transition in the ambition and scope of the company over time. As you've built up and had success with Immaculate Cleaning, where was the seed for that kind of broader vision planted, and how did it kind of come to sprout?
Man, I feel like I've always been very ambitious with my business vision, and like I said early on, when we made the decision to go commercial, that was part of that decision making process as well. We were thinking long term. I'm never content with what we have going on. Always looking for the next big thing, not in the sense of overnight success, but just making sure that we align ourselves with things that could help push the vision along. Yeah, man, that's always been who I am as a person, and that's the culture of the company, right? We look to the future, man. We think long term. We execute on the things that we said we're going to do. It's like, myself is a reflection of the company and vice versa.
Yeah, no, but before we kind of explore some of the alternative business opportunities that you have in play, I know I just kind of want to wrap up where Immaculate Cleaning has come and how you came to be here, really with kind of two specific paths. One is, I'd love to hear the story of how you became the official kind of cleaning partner for the Cleveland Monsters. And then before that, I'd love to also understand the role of Jumpstart in Immaculate Cleaning's development as well.
For sure. First, I want to say not official, but proud cleaning partner of the Cleveland Monsters. But so that came across. Everything I like to do is I like things to happen organically. Like, we don't force anything. Things kind of just play themselves out. It's meant for us. It's meant for us. So that conversation started. We were contacted from a rep from the Cleveland Cavaliers, actually, and he wanted to have a conversation. And we entertained a conversation thinking about developing our employee incentive program, right? So, like I said, we talk about relationships. That's not just relationships with clients. That's relationship in-house as well with our employees, with their families and so on and so forth. So in developing that plan, we had an agreement so where, we could send some of our key employees down with their families to enjoy the game, all the perks of being down at Rocket Mortgage, some of the concerts and events, and it was great. We noticed one day when we were down that there was an advertisement claiming another company to be the official cleaning partner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So immediately my mind went, hey, we're going to do something. Being ambitious, I'm on it immediately. So they started having conversations just about, what it takes to be a partner and some of the things that they offer, and how we can help build a community with this partnership. And I'm all about, we haven't touched on it, but I'm all about, the community and the people. But yeah, so the talks developed, and, we reached an agreement, and so we became the official or the proud cleaning partner of the Cleveland Monsters. But those guys are great. One of the things that drew me to the organization was, I try not to get blindsided by the glitz and glamour behind certain things, right? People will get so caught up in doing business with the name of, the Cavaliers are, the Monsters, but if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So we tried to be, conscious of, what we were doing in that space and what the goal was, which was ultimately to, benefit our employees. And then it made sense to, from a partnership standpoint, for us to do business together.
Yeah. What do you think has kind of allowed you to win some of these larger deals in what I understand to be a very competitive space? Speaking to some of the other companies claiming to be the official, sponsoring cleaners out there. What has been the competitive edge for you and has allowed you to kind of thrive and grow in this market?
Man, a couple different things, but like I'm gonna go back to the things I said before, which is the training systems, right? We make sure that each employee is trained properly, but they all claim. So I'm gonna take it back to the drawing board. When I rebranded and I was thinking about who we are as a company, I noticed that every cleaning service claimed to have a quality service. They all claim that, hey, we're a quality cleaning service, quality this and quality that. What is quality? Like, what defines quality? So I broke it down. I say, for us, quality is being innovative in our field, having the most up-to-date tools and equipment, being knowledgeable and also incorporating technology into our day-to-day operations. We talk about training systems, right? In order to produce this product, we have to make sure that people are serviced. You have to make sure that people are trained. So I like to compare it to, the McDonald's system, right? You can go to a McDonald's over in California, in Cleveland, in Africa, and wherever, the locations are. And the burger is going to taste exactly the same. The fries are going to taste exactly the same. So that's part of the system that's in place, right? The training systems, which is huge for us. And then the last and most important piece of it is the relationship portion of it. When you buy into, well, I wouldn't even say buy into, when you become a partner with Immaculate Cleaning, right? You get me. And I'm huge on relationships. A lot of integrity. We make sure that we treat, my dad has a quote. He say, Immaculate, where you're treated like family and family is treated like a friend. And that's, we stick to that. That's who we are.
Right on. As you kind of grew the business, it requires capital to bring on more people and set up these systems for training and get those tools in place. And so was this kind of always a bootstrap business where just as you brought on more deals, you were able to hire more people? Was there any capital brought on at any point to jumpstart, not in the jumpstart sense, but like to jumpstart the business? And then where did actually jumpstart the Cleveland organization come into play as you were growing the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. For a long time, like I say, it was bootstrapping. We funded ourselves, the company, no funding. We kind of just fund, in-house organically funded ourselves. It wasn't until 2018. And the funny thing is, so the chain reaction competition was just released. I don't know if you're familiar with the chain reaction competition.
No, what is that?
It was a spinoff of the LeBron show, Cleveland Hustles. They had some success the first year, but they didn't want to pick it up for a second year. So you had the local business organizations who wanted to pick it up, Jumpstart, Cozy, GCP, a couple others I think were involved, but they wanted to pick it up and, keep it moving. So I think I was involved, year 2 of the chain reaction. At that time, the funny thing is I was going to submit, it came across my email. I was going to submit an application, but I was going to submit an application for a separate entity that I had with some of my partners. And I ran it past them, and I had a writer that I was dealing with at the time, and I ran it past her as well. And the guys didn't want to proceed. They had some reservations about it. And the writer was like, "This is perfect for you. Like, you should definitely get involved with this program." And I was like, we're pretty good. I think we can manage, but she's like, "No, I think this is good for us." So I say, "Hey, so go, let's do it." So we sat there, we put together a nice executive summary, submitted to the application. I want to say there were over 100 applicants. They narrowed it down to 20. We were one of the top 20. Then we had to go through what you call the boot camp series or whatever it is. It was like 6 weeks where they teach you how to present to the investors and everything. So I'm sorry I didn't actually explain the competition. So pretty much the chain reaction was they pick a specific community in Cleveland. That particular year, it was the old Brooklyn neighborhood, and there were 5 investors. They were each going to pick a business and invest $100K into the business of their choosing. But that business had to set up a brick and mortar in that particular community, which was old Brooklyn. So yeah, we went through the boot camp, came down to, and the boot camp was kind of funny because I'm a very quiet person. I'm very observant, but I'm already working on my plan, and throughout the course of the boot camp series, these guys are like throwing out these ideas, and I'm like, man, I was going to use that, but now everybody. So it's like almost, yeah, it was like, man, you guys hurt me more than you. But it was good. It was a lot of good insight. They taught how to get projections and things prepared. So we actually presented and we were one of, I think there were 7 winners that year. And we partnered with an investor, Vanessa Whiting. She's a great business mind, a shark here in Cleveland, man. She's been nothing but less than great. Oh, so yeah, that was how I got introduced.
It was the context.
right. So I got introduced to Jumpstart, because they were the main, however, they were in control of that at the time. Like the series was at Jumpstart. Man, when I did my presentation, I think I did a pretty good job, man. And from there, I got involved in the Cleveland Impact program. I didn't win, but it was a great opportunity. And from there, I just kept working closely with Jumpstart and staff. Got some great advisors over there. Yeah, we one of their premier businesses. We seen a lot of success from 2 years ago, and we been scaling every single year. So yeah, it's a good relationship.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a good segue, talking about impact and kind of local focus to kind of work in how the work you're doing with Immaculate Cleaning ties into community engagement and economic development as something I know that is important to you. But how do you think about that? How does it translate into the day-to-day of what you do, and then at a higher level, how you're thinking about that?
Yeah, man. So I am from where I was raised on the east side of Cleveland in like the Huff neighborhood. Like I said earlier, it's a very impoverished area. A lot of crime, a lot of negative things, so to speak, going on over there. As I grew my business, that was one of the things that has always been near and dear to me in my mind and in my heart. Just uplifting and building that community, the youth over there. Yeah, man. So the community, that's huge for me, man. A lot of employees come from over in that area. We try to put different programs in place, like we talk about the incentive program, but we try to assist in purchasing homes wherever we can, help build value, in their lives. Like, it's not about the business. Yeah, we want to make money, man, but at the end of the day, we care about the individual first. So much so, we have a back to school drive in conjunction with the Cleveland Monsters. We'll be giving away some backpacks and just giving back to the community. That's that's big to me. And I always think, like, we didn't have access to a lot of things back when I was growing up in that neighborhood. So we got into a lot of negative things because of that. So, being able, and being in a position to give back and provide resources is huge for me.
Yeah. No, that's very cool to hear. It reminds me, we had a Mansfield Fraser on the show towards the beginning of it, but he was also building Chateau Huff, also, focused really locally on recidivism and kind of the triple bottom line business, but having an impact locally in the community to kind of build people up. It's very cool.
Absolutely. And that's really like, who I am as a person. I'm all about the community, all about doing good. I know it's a balance to everything, right? So talk about success and doing certain things in the business community, right? You can't have one without the other. So we understand the importance of philanthropy and giving back.
Yeah. So with that, I do want to get your perspective on the future. And, you mentioned kind of a handful of other industries that you are taking Immaculate to kind of, Immaculate as a management company, as a holding company, as a conglomerate to kind of offshoot a few of these other businesses. Have you had to gone through kind of the same research and understanding exercises that you went through with specifically the industry of cleaning to understand the specifics or the nuance of how those industries work? Or how have you gone about like figuring out, this particular industry of, maybe like lawn work versus a different industry? Like, how have you thought about that, and what are the factors weighing different industries?
Each of these industries is like, we didn't choose them, they chose us.
Yeah.
So we see an opportunity in giving back. I have a close group of friends and people that I deal with, and they, some are involved in landscape, some in transportation, but we seen opportunity, right? And then we seen opportunity to merge them with the cleaning to build off of those same relationships, right? So for example, with the landscape, I had invested a lot of time and money into one of my friends' business. Very small landscape, wasn't really thinking about B2B or anything, just basically maintaining some 9-to-5 type of or self-employed type of setup. But man, we got approached more than once, enough times to say, hey, maybe we should make this move. And it made all the sense in the world, right? We already invested some money. into this, to this venture. We seen a chance to collab and, help this individual build his business as well. So we kind of just came in and it made sense. He had some knowledge behind it, and we just, take it to the next level. Just plan to scale it. But, it's going to be interesting. We plan to launch the landscape, I want to say October 1st. We'll move right into like the spring cleanup type of thing. During that time, like we developed so much, like it'll be, kind of evolved around software. I want to say like the Uber of landscape services. So, you won't have an individual, but we'll be dealing with a lot of different contractors as we build, go out and get these contracts and work. We'll be dishing it out and giving other business owners opportunity as well. So we'll leverage the brand, we'll build out the company, and we'll, initially or essentially give opportunity to other, landscape businesses or smaller landscape companies throughout Cleveland. And then this is a model that we plan to take and scale nationally as well.
So these systems that you had kind of put in place for Immaculate Cleaning are systems that you think and feel are extensible to these other lines of businesses where you can kind of reuse the technology, the training, the programs across different industries to kind of effectively scale and run the business.
Absolutely. And like I say, the most important to me is relationships. I've been trying to scale down from getting any landscape accounts right now. The relationships that we built, if we mention it, man, we've been swamped in landscape services, right? When I'm trying not to do anything until we officially launch. So that kind of plays into that, as well as innovation. The software that we're using, it'll be an application customized for Immaculate Landscaping, and we'll go out and get clients and everything will work, all the functions through this application. But yeah, so like I said, the relationships that we built, it made sense, and it's showing that we made the right decision because, man,
Yeah, no, focus is important. One of the things, it sounds like most of the growth in the past has been just organically, like how you've grown it. And it sounds like potentially going forward, there could be more of an opportunity for you to acquire businesses and kind of, roll out your infrastructure that you're using in-house and in other lines of the business. How are you kind of thinking about organic versus acquisitory growth going forward?
Man, it's something to think about. I always thought that, or always heard that, you should sell your first business. And we're weighing all options. I read a book early on in my entrepreneurial journey called Built to Sell. And it was probably one of the greatest books I've ever read, right? Because it talks about building a system. Same to go back to the McDonald's system, building an actual system that you can sell and is scalable. Instead of doing multiple different, being scattered, right? It's talk about focusing on and honing in on a specific system. But with that system, man, you build to sell, man. And we built a system that we can definitely sell. So it's not out the question. We maybe might acquire the other business, but everything is an option, man. We're more focused on building it to a point to where if we choose to sell, it'll be a nice offer. Yeah, sky's the limit.
Yeah. What excites you most about the future, kind of looking forward, where the sky is the limit?
Man, I get it sounds so cliche, man, but I really get a thrill out of helping other people. Like that's really, the passion behind it for me. So when looking to the future, man, I love to see my key managers and people that's been around for a long time. I love to see them be successful, not just here, but in other things. And I want to see, their hard work pay off, because that's what it's about for me, man. It's building up other people, making sure everybody else is around me is successful. I don't want to measure success by my own personal success. I want to see everybody around me, get a win.
Yeah, for sure. As you kind of reflect on all your entrepreneurial journeys over the last few years here, and also in contrast to, some of the learnings that you had starting the business, what are some of the things that have, kind of challenged you, struck you didn't expect along the way? I mean, all of it is very hard, but like, what are some of the learnings that you've taken with you so far?
Man, Jeffrey, when I say we had some, and still deal with challenges, man, but we've I've seen a lot in the short time I've been in business. And I've been the business owner who, like I said, I'm very ambitious. So you're not going to see me turn down too many projects or not try to figure things out. So I've been in positions to where, hey, we have a 20K payroll Friday. today is Thursday, and we looking at maybe 3-4K in the bank account. So just learning how to work around those things, man, and having patience and dealing with different personalities in those type of situations, man, and controlling the situation. It's been a lot. Like, just for example, right now, our biggest challenge is hiring and retaining employees. There's a lot of incentives for people not to come to work now. So, reach the point to where we got to be innovative and find new ways to hire and retain, employees. The hourly wage is not keeping people around anymore, right? So we got to find ways to go out and make it appealing, which, talking about the employee incentive program. But for example, there was a big concert here in Cleveland, the Summer Jam concert at a Rocket Mortgage. Yeah, we took 18 employees down, man, and it was a great feeling. Great feeling.
Yeah. In the context of the pandemic over the last year and a half, I imagine that is something that probably had some like material impact on the day-to-day of the business. And how did you kind of weather that storm?
Man, it was unexpected. I think it started off as a joke to everybody, like, oh yeah, what is that? And slowly but surely it became a real thing. We had to adjust, man. We had to adjust, but not to sound insensitive, but we're in a position to capitalize, off of the pandemic, but also help out in a sense, right? To make spaces safe and disinfect, and we took pride in that as well. But it was helpful to us because as we worked on our marketing strategies, right, in dealing in commercial and business to business, our challenge was always how to find a way in, how to get to the decision maker, right? So you try to offer a specialized service. Hey, we'll come clean the carpet, or we'll service this, or but that gave us, a way in, and we didn't have to look for them because they were looking for us. So definitely gave us a way to get inside. And once we're inside, we can then talk about, hey, we can maintain, or we could, further the conversation about how we could transition this into a long-term contract. But yeah, we definitely seen an increase in sales, and we were happy to, help make a difference as well. But it was definitely an adjustment with employees, as we increased our workload, we've seen a decrease in employees. So that was a huge challenge, man. My shout out to my team, man. They were overworked and tired, and we really, really did a lot of work during that time period. It still is, but we're starting to see a change now. People are starting to, come back, get some traction with hiring. But we definitely had to make some real, key adjustments, man, and making sure that we kept everyone safe and did our part to keep the buildings maintained properly as well.
I love hearing how just a lot of the opportunities that you've had have just, kind of presented themselves to you, and you've had this preparedness to kind of run with them and capitalize on them.
Yeah, we tried to, stay prepared for any opportunity. And like I said, I've been grooming myself in the business for this a long time. If we get addressed with the opportunity, last thing we want to do is grow ourselves out of business. So we're strategic about how we take on these different projects. But I'm confident, myself and my team that, no matter the challenge, we'll definitely get it figured out. We were presented with a lot of different opportunities, and man, a shout out to my team again. We definitely figured it out.
Yeah. No, I feel like we missed maybe a basic point early on in the conversation. How long have you been working on Immaculate Cleaning?
So officially, right? I say officially, that's from the date of the state certification. That was March of 2011. So we're approaching 11 years now. But unofficially, like I say, fresh out of high school, man, I was doing all type of gigs to make some money and stay afloat. Yeah, man, that was coming out. I didn't have much responsibility because I stayed with my parents, but things got real quickly. When just doing paying the phone bill and just trying to maintain as a young adult. I definitely was ambitious back then, but man, we had to figure things out back then as well.
Yeah. Now, I'll kind of open the floor to you here for anything that you feel is important about the Immaculate Cleaning story that maybe we haven't covered yet, and that you want to share about the journey and where you're taking it.
I think we covered a lot, man, but it was definitely a long journey. Took a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work. I remember I tell this story all the time. I met a guy years ago. He owned a janitorial service as well. I was always, when I say I was very ambitious, I was very ambitious. I was always looking for the next opportunity, to present myself in the business. I was, Johnny on the spot, but someone introduced me to this guy. He had a janitorial service. He had just signed like some huge deal with, I want to say like Dollar General or something like that. And they made the introduction. I jumped right in. Hey, I can get a team together. We could, make something happen. I was always, observing how things work, and things didn't quite work out. But I remember asking him. I say, how did you, get to this point? And he was like, hard work and dedication. I said, come on, give me this, let me know what's really going on. He said, hard work and dedication. And at the time, I didn't get it, but now it's like, it's really about hard work and dedication. And persistence is everything. We got a million no's, but maybe we got, the yeses that we did get, it counted for sure.
Yeah, no, it sounds trite, but I think it is true.
It's such a cliche story, right? Just like, man, it's like like a movie.
Yeah.
But no, it's all facts.
But there's truth in the cliches. I think that's why they're cliche.
No, absolutely. But yeah, but we plan to continue to grow and scale. I see no limits for Immaculate Cleaning and just the Immaculate group of companies that we're creating. But got a great team. Got a couple other ventures in the works as well. My guy, shout out to my guy Charles Hubbard with In-Depth Data, building I'm not sure if you heard about it. He works closely with Jumpstart as well. He is building a financial platform for business owners and helping them understand the financials and the profitability of their own business. But that'll be huge. That's something that take a lot of my time as well. That's it, man. I think you covered a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you going in deep on all the aspects of the journey so far. Well, we'll tie it back local to kind of wrap it up here. One of the questions that I'm asking everyone who comes on the podcast is trying to paint a collective collage, not necessarily of people's favorite things in Cleveland, but of things in Cleveland that other people may not know about that they should. And so with that, I'll ask you what some of those things might be to you.
That is a very interesting question, partly because I love Cleveland. Born and raised, I always say that if you make it in Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. I kind of like those people that come or leave Cleveland and say, oh, there's nothing in Cleveland. You don't know Cleveland if you feel that way. Right? There's a ton of things to do in Cleveland. Downtown Cleveland is awesome. You have the University Circle area, which is awesome. The Tremont area, which is awesome. There's a ton of things to do. I'm a big supporter of local businesses and, Black-owned, minority-owned businesses as well. Downtown Cleveland is some of my favorite hangout spots. I really enjoy going to the lake off of East 55th in Marina. That was, kind of to free my mind every now and then. Matter of fact, there's a couple different locations of the lake that, I really enjoy going to. I don't want to say it wrong, but it's off further up Lakeshore is a spot, and man, it's a lovely view. I love Cleveland, man. I think Cleveland is a great place to be. I think it's a lot of potential here, a lot of great business owners, a lot of great people, period. There's definitely a transition going on right now. There's a shift. We're going to see what Cleveland is really made of. Shout out to the Browns. They should be pretty decent this year. The Cleveland Monsters, of course, got the hat on.
Yes, proud. Well, James, I really appreciate you coming on and telling your story and sharing all the work that you're doing, and very excited to hear about all the success that you're having. So thank you.
Absolutely, I really appreciate that. Real quick, Jeffrey, I want to give just a couple of my guys, my partners who different business ventures. I mentioned In-Depth Data. You'll definitely be hearing more about that. A great platform, business community online, and a lot of different resources, but they specifically focus on financial tools to help minority and small businesses make sure that they're managing the finances the right way. Rise and Sign, of course, DQ and Pete, that's our marketing team. Great guys, man. We couldn't do some of the things we do without them. And then my guys over at Strong Arm Mobile Detail Wash. Great guys. It's another business that we're building out, but yeah, feel free to check them out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If folks have anything they want to follow up with you about, what is the best way for them to do that, James?
Email info@immaculateCleaningohio.com, and that's IMMACULATE cleaningohio.com. Feel free to hit us with any questions or anything. And then you always call our office, 440-721-1024. Feel free to reach out. And then if you want to, social media person, I'm just terrible with social media. I never know my handles off. So we're going to, let me check it out. J.Barnes4 is my Instagram. So that's J .barnes 4, the number 4.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, James. Really enjoyed this one.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Thanks for having us again, Jeffrey. I really appreciate the you taking time to have a conversation. Wasn't my best work. Thanks. Shout out to the coffee that I'm juiced up off of right now. But, I hope that the listeners could definitely get some good insight and learn something from our conversation.
I think they all will.
I appreciate that.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's show. So if you have any feedback, please send over an email to jeffrey@layoftheland.fm or find us on Twitter @podlayoftheland or @sternhefe, JEFE. If you or someone you know would make a good guest for our show, please reach out as well and let us know. And if you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes or on your preferred podcast player. Your support goes a long way to help us spread the word and continue to bring the Cleveland founders and builders we love having on the show. We'll be back here next week at the same time to map more of the land. The Lay of the Land podcast was developed in collaboration with the Up Company, LLC. At the time of this recording, unless otherwise indicated, we do not own equity or other financial interests in the company which appear on this show. All opinions expressed by podcast participants are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of any entity which employs us. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.